interpretation of the new pedagogy in its relation to modern science. It is not my intention to present a treatise on scientific pedagogy. The modest design of these incomplete notes is to give the results of an experiment that apparently opens the way for putting into practice those new principles of science which, in these last years, are tending to revolutionize the work of education. Much has been said in the past decade concerning the tendency of pedagogy, following the footsteps of medicine, to pass beyond the purely speculative stage and base its conclusions on the positive results of experimentation. Physiological and experimental psychology, which, from Weber and Fechner to Wundt, has become organized into a new science, seems destined to furnish to the new pedagogy that fundamental preparation which the old-time metaphysical psychology furnished to philosophical pedagogy. Morphological anthropology applied to the physical study of children is also a strong element in the growth of the new pedagogy. But in spite of all these tendencies, scientific pedagogy has never yet been definitely constructed nor defined. It is something vague of which we speak, but which does not, in reality, exist. We might say that it has been, up to the present time, the mere intuition or suggestion of a science which, by the aid of the positive and experimental sciences that have renewed the thought of the 19th century, must emerge from the mist and clouds that have surrounded it. The man who has formed the new world of scientific progress must himself be prepared and developed through the new pedagogy. But I will not attempt to spell this willfully here. Several years ago, a well-known physician established in Italy a school of scientific pedagogy, the object of which was to prepare teachers to follow the new movement which had begun to be felt in the pedagogical world. This school had, for 2 or 3 years, a great success, so great indeed that teachers from all over Italy flocked to it, and it was endowed by the city of Milan with splendid equipment for scientific material. Indeed, its beginnings were most propitious, and liberal help was afforded in the hope that it might be possible to establish, through the experiments carried on there, the science of forming men. The enthusiasm which welcomed the school was, in a large measure, due to the warm support given it by the distinguished anthropologist Giuseppe Sergi, who for more than 30 years had earnestly labored to spread among the teachers of Italy the principles of a new civilization based upon education. Today, in the social world, said Sergi, an imperative need makes itself felt, the reconstruction of educational methods, and he who fights for this cause fights for human regeneration. In his pedagogical writings, collected in a volume under the title of Educazione ed Istruzione Pensieri, he gives a resume of the lectures in which he encouraged this new movement, and says that he believes the way to his desired regeneration lies in a methodical study of the one to be educated, carried on under the guidance of pedagogical anthropology and of experimental psychology. For several years I have done battle for an idea concerning the instruction and education of men, which appeared the more just and useful, the more deeply I thought upon it. My idea was that, in order to establish natural, rational methods, it was essential that we make numerous, exact, and rational observations of men as an individual, principally during infancy, which is the age at which the foundations of education and culture must be laid. To measure the head, the height, etc.,